Morning everybody. Yeah, we are still making hay. Where we left off last time in the last video, I think every piece of hay making equipment was broken. Broken and needed parts. So the slasher needed shear bolts. I'd run out of shear bolts and couldn't finish that back paddock. The rake had just blown a hydraulic hose, and the baler had one of the bearings on the pickup front off it because it was cooked, and the John Deere had a problem with the PDO. So since then, so it's been a week, I went and bought shear bolts and made up a bunch and gave them all to Dad. He come back out with the slasher, finished off that back paddock I was on, and then cut that small paddock of grass hay. I also went and got a hydraulic hose made for the rake, which is then Dad's put on, and he's been out here during the week raking this first paddock just over here. I'll show you when I go out there. And I also spoke to John Deere about the PDO problem, and we're gonna have a quick look at it this morning. It sounds like we might need a new speed sensor for the PDO, but we'll have a quick look at it because there was a couple of things he said to check, but most likely it'll be a speed sensor. And it's also starting to rain, so that's not real good for raking hay. And yeah, once again we've had massive storms. We had 2 massive storms this week. I think Dad said they got about 8 mil of rain here in town. I don't know how much rain we got, but it was shitloads. Yeah, I don't know what the go is. The last 3 years, every time we make hay, we've had massive storms. Ugh, I don't know what the hell the go is. But yeah, so I'll jump out, show you what's going on with this paddock, and we'll have a look at this tractor. Alright, so we're just at the back of the John Deere at the moment. Yeah, this is the paddock that Dad raked, as you can see behind me. We're just having a look at the speed sensor for the PDO. So apparently this is what could cause the problem. So we've just pulled it out, checked it for damage. There's a slight nick on the bottom of it there where the metal sensor part is, but I don't think it's enough to actually cause any problems. And I've put a multimeter across both terminals on it, and there's no continuity between. So I'm not sure if this is actually cooked inside still or if there's a problem with the wiring. So it's just 2 wires. And you can see where it goes in there, it sits above the PDO. But yeah, here's the wiring. It's a bit brittle. There's some exposed wire there, but I don't think that's the problem. One wire earths out because I'm testing with my multimeter. Yeah, one wire goes to ground, one wire doesn't seem to have anything. Tested for power, not really getting any indication of what it should have, and I don't have like a wiring diagram or anything, so I'm not exactly sure what it should be reading there, so I'm sort of just going blind by doing it. Yeah, going in blind doing it this way. So we're just going to put the speed sensor back in and start it up, see if it does anything, and if not, we'll just order a new sensor and see how we go. But it may have a wiring issue. I'm sort of suspicious that it might have a wiring issue, but yeah, I need to go through all the wiring, and I sort of need to look at a wiring diagram as well. So we'll put the speed sensor back in and we'll fire it up, see if it changes. I'll fiddle around with the wiring, and if not, yeah, order a new speed sensor and go from there. Right, so I just put the sensor back in, plugged it in, started it up. PDO just keeps cutting out still, so I had to fiddle around with these wires. I just put it in a few different positions and sort of wriggled it around, and it still had the same problem. So we'll order another sensor and we'll see whether or not that fixes it, and if not, I might have to strip all this wiring back up into the cab and see if it still runs under there as well. And I'll have to see whether or not there's a rub through or something or other. Yeah, it sort of makes it hard when you don't have a wiring diagram. I can't actually work out what those 2 wires are meant to read or where they go exactly, so I might have to find out a bit of information about that. And yeah. Alright, we're just coming out to this back paddock. We're gonna do a little bit of raking. We're just gonna do a little test because it's a bit windy. We'll see what it's like. If it's gonna blow the hay too much, we won't be able to do much until the wind stops. So we'll do a couple of laps maybe and see what it's like. So yeah, we just did a lap then. It seems like it should be out, we should be right to go. Coming along this fence here, so going up there, the wind is blowing straight across, so it's sort of going to be the one that's going to be the worst, because it'll blow the hay into the rake wheels and makes it harder to rake. It all gets sort of bound up in them. So as long as the wind doesn't get any worse than what it is now, we should be okay. So hopefully it doesn't, and we should be able to get a fair chunk of this paddock raked. And yeah, so we'll jump into it and we'll see what takes place. So I just stopped in that paddock there. It's getting too windy. Just bunching up on the wheels, as you probably would have seen. So better off to stop than make a mess. So I thought I'd John Deere back up to the shed, see what Dad's up to, and maybe we'll do some baling if he thinks we can. So I'll see you back up the shed. Alright, so just come back down here to the workshop while I've been out the back raking. Dad's been working on the baler. He put that bearing in the pickup and he's put all the guards on now. A few of them needed a couple of screws put in them just to hold them down because the bolts had busted off. So new bearings in there. And now we're gonna just put the PDO shaft together and hook it up to the Massey Ferguson and just test it, because Dad's just greased it all and checked it out. So we'll start it up and make sure that it's actually gonna work, and then go from there. Okay, so we just brought the 3505 and the baler out, the round baler, out to this first paddock, Triticale. We're going to have a look if it's too chaffy or dry to bale today. It's not hot or anything, and it's been pretty cool, but there's been a lot of wind that dries it out. But in saying that, also we've had a couple of misty, sort of showery rains come through this morning. Nothing heavy or anything, but it would have been enough to put some moisture into it. So Dad's going to come out, we'll have a look, what he thinks, maybe do some baling. Either way, we're going to run back in and get my ute and drop the John Deere back off at the rake, because Dad will probably come out later tonight when the wind dies off and do some more raking. And yeah, we took the front loader off because it's just bouncing around in that rough paddock. So Dad's just rocking up now, so we'll do a test on this hay and see what he reckons.
Well, viewers, as you well know, it's an old baler. Not like these modern day jiggers where it gets real tight in the centre, but it ends up making not a bad sort of a bale. I think Cam had a few more revs in the machine when he took off. He might have got a bit more in it, but no, that's all right. I think it'll be worthwhile keeping going for a bit. We'll see how we go.
and Dad's gonna come back out a little bit later and take over. He's been doing a little bit of raking while I started doing some baling. So I can't think how many laps I've done, maybe 4 or 5 laps, and we have baled. Well, the can is buggered up, so we've actually baled 1 bale apparently. But yeah, we've baled way more than 1 bale. Probably baled like, I don't know, close to 30 maybe, 25, 30, something like that. So yeah, good start. The baler hasn't fallen apart yet. Fingers crossed it doesn't. We'll have to see what happens with it. So we'll be back out tomorrow, and yeah, we'll take off where we left off here. So we'll wrap this video up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Yeah, catch us in the next one. See you, right?